Water is the second most vital element needed for life. In fact, where there's no water, you don't usually get people living, do you?
Water is the most necessary thing in this world for everyone. However, did you know that there are ways that if you hydrate yourself, it could in turn harm you? Barbara O'Neill is an Australian alternative healthcare promoter who goes over the need for water. She mentions the necessary precautions of hydration that could reduce your life. Before we begin, if you find this video informative, don't forget to subscribe so that you won't miss out on future content.
So the number one vital element needed for life is oxygen, and that's not a surprise, is it? The second most vital element needed for life is water. You can go 3 minutes without oxygen. You can go a couple of weeks without water. I always say to people, how much water do you drink? And these are some of the answers. I don't like water. If I drink water, my feet swell. If I drink water, I'm going to the bathroom all day. Those last two answers tell me that the water's not getting inside the cell. So how do we get the water inside the cell? We have to go to the third most vital element needed for life, and that is sodium. The fourth most vital element needed for life is potassium. In nature, we find the highest amount of sodium in seawater, and seawater contains 92 minerals. Of those 92 minerals, approximately 30% is sodium, and of those 92 minerals, approximately 50% is chloride. Now, because sodium chloride take up the most amount, they're the first crystals formed when the water is evaporated. So what man does is he scoops up the first crystals formed, he bleaches them white, puts aluminium with it so that it runs freely, and there's your table salt. Table salt is a dangerous salt because we now have two very harsh minerals that if you were to inject both of those into the blood, you would die. There's two harsh minerals and they need all the other 90 to soften them and balance them. The highest concentration of mineral inside the cell is potassium. The highest concentration outside the cell is sodium. And in this bilayered membrane that is around every cell, there are sodium-potassium pumps. And these sodium-potassium pumps are ever going like this, maintaining the balance between potassium and sodium. But when someone's not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and that's where you get most of your potassium, and they're putting table salt on everything far too much, what happens now is sodium levels rise and potassium levels drop. There is a small amount of sodium in the cell.
Barbara O'Neill mentions that the food we eat includes the minerals that we need, but because of our bad diet, they do not balance out, causing issues when we hydrate as well.
But when this happens, you see osmosis and diffusion happens when the highest concentration merges into the lowest. So now sodium levels inside the cell are rising, which they should not, and the cell swells. What's that called? High blood pressure. The doctor is right. Table salt will contribute to high blood pressure. There's a French doctor named Dr. Lelangre, and he's written a whole book on salt. He said, when people come to me with high blood pressure, I put them on Celtic salt. Why does he put them on Celtic salt? Because Celtic salt contains 82 minerals. It's a hand-harvested sea salt. What about Himalayan salt? In many places, Himalayan salt is a lot easier to get. There's about 75 minerals. So it's pretty good, but I prefer the Celtic salt. And one reason is that the Celtic salt has 3 magnesiums. It contains magnesium chloride and magnesium bromide and magnesium sulfate. Magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, and this explains why the Celtic salt is such a moist salt, especially when we've had a lot of rain, because those 3 magnesiums absorb the moisture. And because magnesium is a water-hungry molecule, it can be used to help the water get into the cell. So when you take a crystal of Celtic salt, put it on your tongue, and some say, how big's a crystal? Well, if you've got high blood pressure, start small, about the size of a sesame seed. I don't have high blood pressure, so I might have about 3 times little sesame seeds. put it on your tongue, your mucous membranes start absorbing the minerals. The magnesium is taken to the cell membrane and you drink your water, and that magnesium pulls that water inside the cell. It's the quickest way to hydrate a body. The only time excess water drinking can be dangerous is if people drink too much at once and don't have the minerals that are in the Celtic salt to pull that water inside the cell.
She also goes through what happens when you overhydrate yourself. You may not want to overhydrate yourself, as the body would have trouble balancing out the nutrients. It can make you feel sick, have cloudy thinking, nausea and vomiting, muscle weakness, spasms or cramps, and headaches. If it's severe, you could have seizures or coma. When overhydration occurs and blood volume is normal, the excess water usually moves into the cells and tissue swelling does not occur.
I've had people complain to me, they say, I'm drinking more water now and now I'm going to the bathroom all day. So I say, are you having the salt? Have a little crystal before every glass of water. And ideally we should be having approximately 8 glasses of water a day. And then I say to them, and don't drink a whole glass at once. I think I mentioned earlier, I drink half a glass as soon as I get up. I go to the bathroom, I drink another half glass. Then I get dressed and have another half glass. But when I start every glass, I have that little bit of salt. So you spread the water over the day. And many people have said to me, thank you so much, that has made a big difference. See, huge water in, it's not long before huge water has to come out. It's like watering a plant. And look how God sends the rain, little by little by little. And when there's a tornado, when there's a torrential downpour, that's when the soil gets washed away and flooding can happen. So remember that with your body. Take it little by little by little by little. It is the best way to take it. Did you know that sodium chloride is so strong it can kill the taste buds? Have you seen people that eat table salt? They put it on everything and they put it on before they've even tasted it. Well, no wonder their taste buds are dying. Whereas Celtic salt, with all of its minerals, it enhances the flavour of the food.
Celtic salt, also known as grey sea salt, is a type of unrefined sea salt harvested from the coastal regions of France. It's known for its grey color, which comes from the minerals absorbed from the clay in salt ponds. Unlike regular table salt, Celtic salt is moist, coarse, and rich in minerals like magnesium and potassium, giving it a more complex flavor. It's often used in cooking for its unique taste and health benefits, including lower sodium content and a higher mineral content.
Now, the red lentils we had this morning, a few people have said, what's in this? I've even served it at my house at breakfast and people have said, is there chicken in this? And I know why they say that. It's because it's so flavoursome. Well, it has a little olive oil, some herbs, nice if you can get fresh or Italian herbs, and some Celtic salt and a bit of turmeric. That's it. I rinse it very well. It must be rinsed well first. And I do that just before it's fully cooked. And yet, as you can see, it's delicious. See, I'm not interested in cooking up onions and garlic, and much as I love that in my lentils, I'll do that at lunchtime. But in the morning, I've got hills to run up and down, creeks to jump in. I'm not interested in being in the kitchen for a long time, and that's a very quick dish to make. So sodium not only is required to get the glucose into the blood, it's also required to get the water into the cell. So it's sodium. It's the third most vital element needed for life. And you can get that information on the 4 vitals in any anatomy and physiology book, chemistry book, biology book. I'm just giving you the facts here. So as you can see, water is very important, but so is the salt. And again, the potassium is found in all your fresh fruits and vegetables. Calcium cannot get into the cell by itself. It needs vitamin D. When vitamin D is present, the calcium is pulled inside the cell. You just imagine for a moment, and this is happening in America a lot today, people are not drinking enough water. They're not having the whole salt, and they're definitely not having many greens, which is where your magnesiums is. So the little bit of water they're having is not getting inside the cell.
Barbara O'Neill states that people aren't drinking enough water, and it's a bigger problem than they realize. When you're not properly hydrated, your body doesn't get enough salt, which is essential for balancing electrolytes and supporting vital functions like muscle movement and nerve signaling. Water is necessary for your body to absorb these minerals, so without adequate hydration, you're missing out on both the fluid and the essential salts your body needs to function optimally. Proper hydration is essential for maintaining your body's health and ensuring it functions smoothly. Dehydration can lead to a range of issues, from fatigue and headaches to more severe problems like impaired cognitive function, muscle cramps, and a weakened immune system. Your body relies on water to regulate temperature, transport nutrients, and flush out toxins, so when you're not drinking enough, these processes can't work effectively. However, drinking too much water can be just as problematic. Overhydration, or water intoxication, dilutes the essential salts and electrolytes in your body, particularly sodium. Therefore, it's important to strike a balance. Proper hydration means consuming enough water to meet your body's needs without overloading it. This balance helps maintain the right levels of fluids and electrolytes, ensuring your body stays healthy, energized, and well-regulated. If you found this video informative, give this video a like and subscribe so that you won't miss out on future content.